All right, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Black Coffee and Crime. This is episode 81. Brandy is not with us. She has the privilege of being on vacation right now in a very tropical locale. So we're not going to bother her. Yeah, we're not going to bother her about it. We just, but she'll be back soon. She's going to be there for a minute. So she gets to be in paradise for a long time, whatever. So it is just Jackie and I tonight. And after the Who Shawanda mystery debacle last week, I'm still not well. I still haven't healed from Who Shawanda.
My sister laughed so hard. She was like, "What's wrong with y'all?"
Every time I see it, I laugh.
I bust out laughing.
I laughed so hard. Even like just watching it the first time through, I was like, this is so stupid. Like, we are really dumb. Like, the whole episode was just...
It's dumb.
It was just off. So for those who got something out of that, that's awesome, because I wasn't sure that anybody would be able to get anything from what we were talking about that night, because it was just all over the place from beginning to end. I don't think we have any church announcements this week, but I guess we do. And just, one, thank you to the website called Illicit Deeds. We mention Illicit Deeds a lot. I found them on Facebook, so I interfaced with them with Illicit Deeds on Facebook a lot. So they shouted us out to a couple different Facebook pages, and I saw some activity on our Facebook pages because of that. So thank you to Illicit Deeds. And everyone who came to check out Black Coffee and Crime from Illicit Deeds. Appreciate the views and coming to check us out. Here on this show, we are very unscripted. If you watch episode 80, you'll understand that we are truly unscripted. This is just something that we like to do. So, we're not professionals, like law enforcement professionals. So if there's any information that you feel is incorrect or that we needed to add to, let us know in the comments here on it or on any YouTube video, Facebook and or Instagram at Black Coffee Crime. So you can always do that. So thank you to Illicit Deeds. We're going to talk about in the church announcements prayers to anybody who's been affected by what we're going to talk about in just a second. It's just crazy. Any other church announcements? Nah.
No, but I definitely think Shawanda should pop up every so often in our shows, just to, grace us with her presence. I think we should run that by her. Like, just randomly.
By Shawanda? I still don't know who Shawanda is, but, that in and of itself is a mystery. So if anybody knows who Shawanda really is, please let us know.
Please.
I'm still reeling. I'm not healed yet, y'all. I'm not healed. Every time I see my expression, like when it kicked in.
Every time I see that I started slowing down speaking and it looked like my body was frozen. Like I didn't blink. I didn't do anything. Every time I see that part, I die.
I think I saw your body language before I saw the pop-up. I just saw you. I saw you slowing down and I was like, what's going on? And then you just stopped and I looked at the other screen and I was like, who Shawanda? Yeah, so if you don't know who Shawanda is or what we're referring to, please go back and watch episode 80.
Please.
If nothing else but the who Shawanda, okay? Just get that part. Yeah, so those are the announcements as follows. Please obey your ushers and respect your pastor. All right, so last night, apparently this U.S. Supreme Court was in session talking about the historic landmark constitutional case of Roe versus Wade, which is the abortion law. And apparently it was leaked. The explanation of a decision was leaked before it was announced, formally announced, which still hasn't been, that they have repealed Roe versus Wade, meaning that federally abortion is now illegal or will be, which is crazy. Like 50 years ago, this case went into the Supreme Court. It was argued again, argued against, and finally it was approved that abortion was legal. And really what it was about was the right to privacy. So that's what that law is about. It's about a woman's right to privacy, and what she does with her body is like giving women autonomy over their bodies. But we know ever since then, Roe versus Wade has been on people, abortion laws, which I don't understand why a country that is supposed to be separate from the church, not a religious country, not under any sort of religious law, is so worried, constantly worried with the morality of abortion. But we weren't concerned with the morality of slavery, the morality of the rape that occurred within that institution. We weren't concerned with the morality of Jim Crow, the morality of prison systems and poor people and healthcare. All of these are moral issues. Abortion to me is on the bottom of the list of all of this. I know people, you can have your personal opinion about it, whether you think it's wrong or right. So if you think it's wrong, don't do it. Don't do it.
That's simple. And even if you think abortion is wrong, why would you put yourself in a situation to where you could possibly have to get an abortion? If it's so wrong, but that's your opinion, and that's okay.
There it is there. And that's what I think this is all about. It's America has a history of wanting to force its morality on other people. I think America is very false in its religious fervor. We in this country use religion as a weapon, rather than as comfort. It is used as a baton. Every time we go to war, anytime any European entity, and I would consider America being a European entity in this case, goes to war, it is always because God. Who's God? Which one are you talking about? And it's always used as a weapon. And this is just another thing. And there, they'll quote the Bible. The Bible doesn't mention abortion. I don't know. Does it? Can somebody tell me? So if you do know, if the Bible specifically mentions abortion,
I don't know if it's specifically, I'm sorry, I just don't know if it's specifically stating that. Of course it says be fruitful, multiply, but I don't recall it saying it. I'm just saying that's what I don't recall. I mean, somebody may know differently, but I don't recall that. It's just, the whole situation is just horrible.
And I think that really what this abortion ban, you've seen states going to extreme measures to ban abortion. And now it's at the federal level again. And just to be, I think there has never been a constitutional amendment repealed like this, like taken back. There was a prohibition, but I don't think this has really ever happened. But this is really about population.
Exactly.
The U.S. Census, the last census that we did, the numbers for births, for white people in America declined for the first time. You know, scientists have studied, universities have studied and said that by 2050, white people will be a minority in the country. This is fear of brown folks, of basically being, you know, the minority. You won't. To me, it's an irrational fear. And also with the opioid crisis, you have a lot of people dying from, you know, whatever. And then in the opioid crisis, you have a lot of young people who are dying before their best reproductive years. And then on the other flip side of that, those who are reproductive, especially white women, they're having babies by brown people.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is a way to force women to have babies, specifically white women, because the numbers show that more white women have abortions than, say, Black women. This is about population control on both sides. You don't want Black women to have babies, but you want white women to have babies. But Black women typically, I mean, again, with the numbers, we don't have as many abortions, but we have the highest birth mortality rate as well. We die more in having babies than anybody. And that's just because of discriminatory healthcare.
Right.
So it's all population control. But the bigger thing about this ban is, like I said before, this is about the right to privacy. You know what other laws are about the right to privacy? Gay marriage is about the right to privacy. Homosexual sex is about the right to privacy. Interracial marriage, Loving versus the state of Virginia, will also be up for grabs. You know why? Because it is the right to privacy. So you think about just this one thing, then you can't have same-sex marriages. You can't have homosexual sex. You cannot be an interracial couple marrying. You also, under the right to privacy, is adult content. If you have adult content or sell it or anything like that, that is also under the umbrella of all these cases of the right to privacy. This is like, if you think about it, if you are a study of World War II or Nazi history at all, this is like, I don't know if these are specifically called the Nuremberg laws, but these are Nazi laws. Every last one of these things. Every last one of these things. I was just watching a documentary called The Pink Triangle about gays in Nazi Germany. And one of the things that they did, one of their morality laws was they knew that the German population was declining. So you couldn't have homosexual sex because they believed that was causing people not to have babies. And so that was a part of the law. Even the SS members who were gay, and there was lots of them, they were encouraged to have babies by Aryan women. They had this thing called Lebensborn, which was an entire state-run program to gather young Aryan women, to mate them with SS officers to have
the gay
Aryan babies. Any of them, gay or straight.
Wow.
Just SS officers, so that they can have babies. In Tennessee, they just, child marriage, they've lifted restrictions on child marriage in Tennessee. And then on top of that, you can't get an abortion even if it's incest or rape, no matter what the age is of the victim. So what does that mean? Y'all are trying to farm out some babies. Y'all are trying to farm out babies. And Justice Barrett, Coney Barrett, she said that.
Lord.
Yeah, She said that the number of children that are eligible for adoption negates the need for abortion.
Huh?
Basically, have the baby because there's people who want to adopt. So you don't have to abort the baby because there's so many people who want to adopt that abortion is not even an issue. There was one person on TikTok, and I wish I had saved this. Yeah, my reaction too. I wish I had saved this because she said that abortion is a pregnancy issue. Adoption is a parenting issue. And I'm like, wow.
That's really good.
Because if I want to have an abortion, I don't want to parent.
Right.
I don't want to parent. I don't even want to give birth. I don't want to. Like that in and of itself is, I don't want to even go through it. I don't want to go through the changes. I don't want this. I don't want to be a vessel for someone else. I don't even want to be a vessel for myself. I don't want any part of this.
And the solution is to put them in adoption where there's already a shitload of kids who don't get adopted.
Right. And they don't get adopted. Right. Because they don't get adopted because another TikToker said, people don't want children. People want babies. People want white infants with no problems. No developmental, no behavioral, no history of trauma. They want white babies. That is the majority of what people want. Those people looking to adopt a child, they are looking for a white infant. No one wants a toddler or an older child. So yes, there's hundreds of thousands of children in foster care eligible for adoption. But you won't adopt them because they're not babies. And that tells me that you really don't want a parent. You want an accessory. You want to complete your triangle. You want to complete your circle. You want to complete your perfect ideal family. This is not true for everybody. So don't come for me and talk about it's not true. Then I'm not talking to you. But that's what this is. So I don't understand. Apparently, some people who have never had to make that decision, and if you never have, then that is wonderful. But if you have had to make a decision to terminate a pregnancy, I don't think most people don't take it lightly. It's not an easy decision. I would imagine that it's not. And I would imagine that is something that stays with you. But if it's the best decision that you can make at the time, make the decision. And I don't think
able to make that decision.
Right. And I don't think that someone who doesn't even know the definition of an ectopic pregnancy or won't Google it should have the right to tell me that I can't do it.
Crazy.
It's crazy. And it's more to come on Roe v. Wade and what the reverberations are from this. This is sad because it's not just an abortion. It's not just about the abortion law. It's about all these other things that can and will be affected by this.
Yes.
I just think that this country is going to take a step 150 years back. And this is going to be, it is going to be illegal to live in this country if you are not a white man. I promise you.
I was on TikTok, and now I don't know how I got in this algorithm, but I'm happy I did. And it's talking about Black people who are now making a decision to leave America.
Mm-hmm.
And they're locating different countries to live in, and it's a community. These people are saving up for a whole year and uprooting their family and leaving.
Yeah, there's a lot of Black expats.
And it was a guy who mentioned in one of the videos in the one of the ladies who was discussing, where she's trying to decide to go, she said, I hope y'all know that if you give America another 50, maybe even, he was saying not even 50 years. He said, y'all will be living exactly the way you did not want to live, that you lived in the past. I'm telling everyone to get your stuff and leave. There's other countries will value you. They will appreciate you way better than this. Leave this country. I was like, you know what? Let me start thinking.
There's a lot of Black expats in countries that have universal health care, countries that don't have abortion bans,
right.
Countries that
aren't racist.
Well, I don't think there's a country in the world that isn't, don't have racist people, but I do think that there are countries that don't have racist laws specifically to keep, there are definitely some that do, but as a whole, I think there are a lot of countries that don't have it. I mean, you have racist people everywhere, but just the laws to keep certain people in a certain place. Mm-mm.
Or maybe I mean people that would treat our culture, despite maybe a slight racism, still a lot better than America.
Mexico.
Exactly. Everybody moving to
Mexico. Also Scandinavian countries. But that's a little iffy sometimes too, because it's just iffy because a lot of European countries have a very precarious relationship with continental Africans, just as immigrants and refugees, and those seeking political asylum. So when it comes to European countries, you really got to pick which one kind of fits you. But yeah, do your research. Yeah, but I will say this, and then we'll move on to Aileen Wuornos. If you move to another country, you are still, as a U.S. citizen, you are still obligated to pay U.S. taxes. If you give up your citizenship.
Wait, what?
Yes. If you move to another country, you still have to pay U.S. taxes.
I'd be so blinded by everything. I don't even look.
Still have to pay U.S. taxes. And if you give up your citizenship, you have to pay to get it back. So if you're like, I don't want to pay taxes, I don't want to work, you can give up your citizenship, but you got to pay out of the ass to get it back. So, yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you can do it. You can get a work visa as long as you work. You can stay, or stay. Some countries you can stay 6 months, leave the country, then come right back. So there's a lot of ways around it. But yeah, look into if it's something you're interested in. Even if you're not Black and you just want to get the hell out, look for other expats and they'll tell you how to do it. All right, we'll come back to Roe versus Wade and what this means and all this stuff at another time, because it's not going to go away anytime soon. All right, so we're going to do an oldie but goodie tonight. Jackie is obsessed with this person, has been obsessed with this person for a long time. And so tonight we're going to talk about her, because where would true crime be without Aileen Wuornos? I mean, really, right. Where would this whole true crime obsession, podcasting shows, TikTok, YouTube accounts, we wouldn't be anywhere if we could not talk about Aileen Wuornos. Like,
right. She's like
the most infamous female serial killer ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Of course, she was immortalized in Monster, which came out, I think, 2010-ish, something, the 2010s, the teens. And Charlize Theron played Aileen and won an Oscar for that. And, she was good. She was really good in that movie. I'm not a fan of Charlize Theron, but she really did a good job in that movie.
She did.
Yeah, I think I think she's overrated as an actress. But she did good in that movie though.
Aren't most of them overrated? Well, real quick. So did you see? Okay, so you know the Met Gala was last night.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't really see nobody on theme. Not many.
Okay, yeah, the theme was gilded elegance or something like that, meaning the Gilded Age of New York. I think that like coincides with the Edwardian period, which is, I'm a history buff, but
yeah,
I think it's like after the Victorian era, so like 1910, like, you know, like right in this move to the 20th century, so right in the cusp of the 19th and the 20th century, probably up to the 1915 or something like that, around that age, right before the war, the Roaring '20s. So they, you know, that was the theme. I think one person that hit the nail on this is Cardi B. That gold dress that she had,
man, on, that heifer looked extra. She always looked
her
good,
stylist, which it was a Versace dress. Her stylist hit the mark because it was, her waist was cinched in. She already has a big butt, so the waist was cinched in, and it gave the illusion of her wearing a bustle, and then it had that illusion of a corseted bodice, and the boobs were up here. It was draped in with a gold dress, and it was just draped in all these chains, but it was beautiful, and the movement of that dress had the mini train on it. She hit the mark with that. There were a couple of others that were very close. The skirt that's not Kylie, what the other one name is, what the other sister name is. Kendall. The skirt that she wore, the black over beautiful. The top. That hit the mark. Her top,
didn't.
But that skirt itself, beautiful. Yeah, but Cardi B won. If there was an award, Cardi B won the night,
hands down.
Cardi B. Everybody else, I just think everyone else just kind of.
And then why would Kim wore the Marilyn Monroe dress,
which it wasn't spectacular, not at all.
And I'm like, you would have never been able to embody Marilyn Monroe in that moment because she had already embodied that moment. So there was nothing you could do to feel that shit. Then you had to squeeze it. You almost busted it. I mean, Marilyn Monroe got sewn into the dress.
I just don't understand.
What were you thinking?
What the purpose of her wearing that dress? Because I think that would have been a dress to wear at an event that was centered around Kim. That Kim would have been the focus of the night, maybe a Hollywood gala or a premiere of some sort of, targeted media sensation of her wearing that dress or mimicking the, happy birthday, Mr. President thing. But her wearing that dress to the Met Gala when it wasn't on theme made no sense. Like had it been, hey, talking about the 50s or the 60s, that kind of a thing, then that would have made sense for her to wear the dress because it would have been appropriate. Oh, that's Marilyn's dress that she wore when she's saying to the president, and da 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 da. But her wearing it that night was off theme. You didn't do, like, your hair was slicked back. You looked bald headed. Like you did nothing for this dress. It was just, I was like, you wore the icon's dress and you ruined it. Like,
yeah, she ruined it. She ruined the whole look,
It looked like, on her, it looked like a regular ass dress.
It really did. I thought so too. I'm like, I thought it looked so basic. It didn't even have the same kind of wow factor.
The silhouette wasn't even there. It really is a simple dress, but what made that dress was Marilyn. Marilyn's body was, she wasn't skinny. She wasn't skinny. And at that time, Marilyn was probably, when she wore that dress, Marilyn was probably, and the sizing, in different eras are different. So what they considered plus size is like a size 5 now. But I think Marilyn was probably at one of her heavy. Yeah, Marilyn was probably at one of her heaviest points when she wore that dress. She wasn't, something like a hot Marilyn or, gentlemen would prefer blondes. Oh, Lord. Ooh, I thought it was Shawanda coming in. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. Thought we was going to have another one. We ain't know. I seen the shadow and I said, we're going to do this again. We're talking about the Met Gala. We just kind of went off a little bit.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, yeah, I think Marilyn was at one of her heaviest points in there. So her figure was extra exaggerated in that dress. So her boobs were up here. Her hips were out here. Kim just was like flat because, she ain't got no hips. So we didn't get to see this. Right. We didn't get to see a silhouette of what that dress really could have been, but it was just off. She shouldn't have worn it last night.
She always stealing somebody's style.
It just didn't, it wasn't giving. It wasn't giving.
She said she lost 60 pounds to get in that dress. And 3
I believe it, but it still didn't do it. She didn't do anything for the dress.
She almost busted the dress.
I think she got some of her butt.
I don't know. I just,
She still didn't look better than it.
No.
She didn't even do it.
She could have worn anything else. But Cardi B stole the show. Also Lizzo with that beautiful Andre Talley-esque cape she had on. That I don't know if that was an homage to Andre Leon Talley, but that cape, that black and gold cape that she had on, she did that. I love that. Everybody else was kind of lackluster. Oh, Blake Lively's dress was beautiful. It was over the top and beautiful. Yeah. She's all with Blake Lively. I gotta admit, she don't really do a lot of movies, but on the red carpet, 10 out of 10 every time. 10 every time. She does not miss a step. All right, so we can go ahead and talk about the monster, Aileen. For those who don't know who Aileen Wuornos is, like I said, she's the most infamous female serial killer. She killed 7 men, convicted of 6, given 6 death sentences in 1990, 91 or 92. She was given 6 death sentences, which was carried out in 2002 by lethal injection. She killed the men because she said that they were trying to rape her while she was trying to service them as her Johns. So that's the bare minimum of Aileen Wuornos. Jackie, let me ask you a question because you're very fascinated with her. What is your fascination with Aileen Wuornos?
My fascination is that, for one, I honestly believe, now I'm not gonna say every last one of them got to the stage of rape or hurting her. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. I don't believe every last one of them did, but I do believe most of them did. And because of her history in life, she had a very hard life, a very sad life. And I feel like at that point in her life, it was just kind of like flight of Saint. What am I going to do? Like at this point, I have to do whatever I have to do to take care of me. I'm tired of people hurting me. I'm tired of people mistreating me. And she snapped. That's really what I believe. I feel like the only person she felt loved her at that time was
Tyra.
Yeah, Tyra. How do you say her name? And other than that, she was just in this world, just feeling alone, like nobody cared, like a lonely soul. And at that point, I thought, nice, she had snapped, and I felt really bad for her. Like, I really do. It's really sad.
That's crazy to say that you see her as a sympathetic figure, but I don't think most people know. Like you said, she had a hard life. Her mom was a teenage mom. Her mom had her brother when she was 13. And then a couple, as soon as she was able, she had Aileen. So there was 2 kids. She did her mother did get married to her father. but they divorced before Aileen was born. So the girl was maybe 15 when she got a divorce. They went to live with the mom's parents. Well, the mom up and left the two kids. She had a very harsh life. She says she'd said that she was sexually assaulted as a young child by her grandfather. And also raped by her grandfather's friend. She did have a child. Was the child that she had a result of the rape from her grandfather's friend?
It never really says. It just says she ended up pregnant. I don't think it is, but it mainly just says she ended up pregnant.
Okay. She did
I'm double checking.
Just like her mom did at an early age. So the baby was adopted out. She continued to kind of act up at that point. Go ahead.
She did. The baby was a resort of being raped by the friend.
Right. So she had that bad history. So after that, her grandmother dies after she has this baby. Her grandfather kicks her out. So now she's out on the streets. And she's just out there, and she starts supporting herself through prostitution. So she's a prostitute for most of her life. She wrecks cars, she goes to jail, all of this stuff. So this is why I think that she...
Don't forget her brother was sleeping with her.
Oh yeah. She was having some sort of incestuous relations with her brother as well. Like, her life reads as the most horrible thing. I mean, her murdering these men, there's no excuse for that, but you can understand why she did it.
I think that those people...
Go ahead.
I think the people that she killed, got to hear me? Because it's a lot of background noise.
We can hear you. We will make allowances for you for being in paradise right now.
I think the people that she killed was in a way getting back, like a way to give back to her grandfather since she couldn't kill him, I guess.
Definitely.
Right.
Or with all the other guys paid the path for the grandfather.
Exactly.
Definitely.
The grandfather and all. I'm quite sure that his friend that raped her was not the first man that he, and I'm alleging, allowed to do that to her. Because I just don't think it's just, you just let that one pinochle partner do that. I think that if he was doing it, he allowed the one friend, there was probably most likely others.
Definitely pimping her out.
As well. And yes, I do believe that her victims were substitutions for her grandfather. And at some point, because she had been a prostitute for a long time, and I'm quite sure in that type of life, that unsafe life, that she probably was sexually assaulted before that too. Like, those weren't the only times that she was assaulted, while servicing Johns. I just think that she probably targeted middle-aged men on purpose.
Yep.
And then at some point they became prey. You know what this reminds me of is Rosemary West. She had her father sexually assaulted her. And then she kept going, when she got married, she kept going back to her dad. And a lot of her Johns were like her dad, So I think this, not trust me, they're completely two different crazies. But it reminds me of that. Like, you seek out the thing that you hate or that thing that hurt you, but you also seek out the thing that you love. And you're gonna get revenge on it because you should have protected me, you should have loved me, but you did this, and so I'm gonna get back at you. So I think that's what Aileen was doing. But let's see here, she killed 7 men, but one of them was actually probably trying to rape her or did. And that was Charles Mallory.
The first one,
no,
right?
Richard Charles Mallory. Yeah, he was actually a sex offender, a convicted sex offender. So he had a history of this. She said that he beat, raped, and sodomized her. And she killed him in self-defense. She put 2 bullets in his lung and shot him several other times as well. Like she was emptying the chambers on these guys. She didn't shoot them one time. Aileen was emptying the chambers. And that's why I don't think that her claims of self-defense after this one really held any water.
Right.
I don't, because how you shoot somebody 6 times in self-defense? That don't work.
If I didn't see BW's trees moving in the back, I would think she was sitting in front of a picture.
Right.
And it's pissing me off. That's it. Okay.
I remember when we did the incel story, and I had brought her up, Aileen, brought her up as being a female incel. I can't remember what the name of a female incel is, but I remember that I had brought up her name of her being a female incel. I still believe that she is one, but I remember bringing her up in that conversation.
I would say that she is, because she has, not just because that she, was a lesbian or had a same-sex relationship, but because she had this serious hatred for men. And then also with that hatred for men, she was like completely delusional. Or maybe she wasn't, I don't know. But she had these outlandish ideas about, what people were doing to her, even when she, even after she was in prison. And that everyone was trying to hurt her all the time. Everyone was always trying to hurt her. And it was men that were trying to hurt her. And she, I'm quite sure she felt the rejection of that as well.
What I don't understand is, why didn't she just live as a lesbian early on? Why wait? I mean, instead of having all these men, why didn't she just live her truth in the beginning?
I think because I don't think she had that relationship for sex. I don't think she was in the relationship with, what's her name? Tyria. I don't think she was in that relationship for sex.
Maybe she was with it because she can trust a woman more than she can trust a man.
Yes. In my experience, I know someone personally that I asked, that I know that this person was married, had 3 children. And I asked, after the divorce and everything, like, why? And she told me that I never want another man to touch me. And because it was out of fear. Like, she said that every man that I've ever known hurt me. I don't like, and it's not that women can't hurt you. It's just that women haven't hurt me. They have. So I don't think her relationship with Tyria was, and correct me if I'm wrong about pronouncing this woman's name, was about sex. It was comfort. It was familiarity. It was, I don't fear this person. So I think that's what that was all about.
Your nose always running.
What were you saying, Jackie?
Your nose always running.
I know. So like I was saying, I don't think it was out of, wasn't sex. This reminds me, because, I always got these references for y'all know the color purple. Brainy and I are color purple connoisseurs. The relationship between Suge Avery and Celie wasn't about sex. They gravitated towards each other because they had both been hurt by men. And when they got together, and if you've read the books, they had a long-standing relationship.
Yes, they did.
And it was companionship. It was like trauma bonding.
And they also were getting intimacy that they couldn't get from a man. Intimacy, not even in a sexual way, just having someone there with you.
Exactly. I think that's where this was the basis of Aileen's sexuality when it came to same-sex sexuality, was that it was, like you said, it was about the intimacy. It was about being familiar with someone, being able to be soft and vulnerable with someone. She wasn't ever able to do that with a man. She never had a healthy relationship with a man. Not her grandfather. Her father was non-existent. She did not have a good healthy relationship with her brother. After that, she was, on the streets and a prostitute. She was married for a short stint, but it was annulled. So her relationships with men were unhealthy altogether. So yes, as humans, we still need this. So I'm going to go to the next source. So I think that's why she did that. And I don't think she saw herself as like a card carrying lesbian. I don't think that, I don't think she would have labeled herself as a lesbian. I just think she would have just been like, this is the person I love, period. I don't think she would have even accepted that type of a label. That ice cream looked good as hell.
Do you think the other woman viewed her at the same way that she viewed her partner?
No, I think that I keep messing with this lady's name. I'm gonna get it right.
I think she really looked at her in an actual like lesbian.
It's my girl.
This is
my lady. This is my person. What is her name? And I keep messing it up. Tyria Moore. That was her name. Tyria Moore. She was just a couple years younger than her. I really think that Tyria, like Jackie said, saw her as this is my person. Like, this is my true partner. But Aileen just saw her as like, I don't see Aileen as, I think I see her as being very asexual. Like, or what we would call now pansexual or whatever, just somebody whoever it is, I just happen to love. Whoever that is, however they're presenting sexually, they fit. But, and also I don't think that she would have attracted to her if she was a masculine lesbian. Because I think also out of a need to protect herself, Aileen was very masculine. There was nothing feminine. Besides her very early pictures, there was nothing feminine about Aileen Wuornos. Which is why
Definitely
I don't know why she
butch.
Right. That's why I don't know why like men were attracted to her as a prostitute.
I think she had a way with men. She knew how to kind of seduce them. I mean, you don't have to be the most beautiful person to get, a man. She knew how to seduce him. She knew how to use her body because she'd been using her body since she was a child. So she knew how to use her body, and she knew that she could control men with her body. And I think that's why
she knew what they wanted. But again, I'm not even saying like her looks. I'm just saying her whole demeanor was masculine, like very, very, like Jackie said, very butch. But then we can explore why these men would want a butch looking prostitute.
Some men like women like that.
Some men want to have a man, so they have to pick a woman like that.
We'll save that for another show.
Because her demeanor, if you like listen to some of her interviews and things of that sort, there's nothing feminine about her. Nothing. The way she even talks hard and very masculine. So either it's just that she knows how to put it out there really quickly, like to someone, or I don't know. These men were looking for something else, and she was the closest thing to it. I mean, someone else, because I don't know.
Yeah. we can explore that that avenue, that controversial avenue of men not liking women either, but only needing women for sex. Yeah, we can talk about that later because we're gonna piss a lot of people off.
We're gonna piss some people off with that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll just talk about that on just a random Instagram live. Ooh, you know when we can talk about that? When we talk about P-Valley on June 3rd.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of that going on in P-Valley. So yes, we can talk about that on June 3rd. That is not gonna be a Black Coffee and Crime show. We just gonna talk about that on Instagram. All right. So I do believe that she's a female incel. That they are called, Brandy, to go back to your question, they're called femcels. And actually it was women who founded the movement. It's called Involuntary Celibacy Project for those, who struggle with forming loving, basically loving relationships, like people who just can't connect with other people. And they don't know why, why they can't connect with another person. But yeah, there's femcel. So I think she's a very extreme example of a femcel, but mostly I think that she's just a sexual assault victim who just happened to be in a position, put herself in a position or found herself in a position and got triggered. But this is the part that how many times do you have to be triggered? Like, I think after the first time that she did it, I think at that point, after she killed Mallory, I think she got off on it. Like she had her power after that.
She enjoyed it. She definitely enjoyed it.
Yeah, she had her power after that. So after she killed Mallory, she had her power after that, and you couldn't stop her. You couldn't stop her. One of the things that she said was that she was the type of person, and I'm paraphrasing, that she was a type of person that just didn't care about humans, and that she would have done it. She would have kept doing it. Yeah. She just didn't care. So, after that first one, which probably based on Mallory's history, criminal history, he probably was the one that really raped her. And that was self-defense. But once she figured out he's doing this, she probably went back into like the shell when she was a little girl and a teenager and couldn't fight for herself. And then she killed him. And then I think she sought after men of the same demographic, and she just started killing them after that.
Exactly.
Do we know what happened to her brother?
He died. He had cancer. He died in he died early, before she started the killing. Yeah, like at the early 80s. She probably would have went back. I think so. I think she probably would have went back and killed him too. Yeah, but he died of cancer. He actually left her a life insurance policy. She blew through that with, in a couple months or whatever. But yeah, he died of cancer. When she went to trial, they never allowed the evidence of Richard Charles Mallory's criminal history to be brought up in her trial. The judge wouldn't allow it. And that was one of the reasons why she tried to get a retrial several times, because she's like, if you're going to bring up my history, I'm saying that the reason why I did this is because he tried to rape me, and this man is a convicted, I don't know if it was rapist, but he hadn't been molesting people. Why wouldn't you allow that into evidence? So that was another reason why, again, she hated men, because the judge was a man. So she's like, you guys are protecting, protecting the status quo, protecting men. Who else did she kill?
Real quick, wasn't she still killing once she was with the girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Because I think the girlfriend was feeling some kind of way about her still being with men.
Mm-hmm.
But old girl kind of let her know, she was still for her.
Yeah, because she was Tyria was working as a maid. So she was working. So she's like, I got you. Why do you keep having to do this? There was one murder, Peter Simons. They killed him in 1990. She apparently Tyria was with Aileen when this happened. So the 1990 murder, at least at that point. And this was the fifth one. At least by the fifth murder, Tyria was an accessory, at least, to her murder spree. So yeah,
because she was riding the cars, utilizing,
and I think
things. So.
I think the reason why she didn't get convicted is because she was witness. They used her as a state's witness.
Yeah, she pretty much made her confess, to get herself out of trouble.
What do you think that did to Aileen? Like, this person you trust, like the only person in the world that you trust, and she had some very, she really, really loved her.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, as best as she knew how, what do you think that did to her, to see that this person is going to, you were with me, you know why I did this, I've told you everything.
Right. I think she was hurt, but at the same time, because she loved her, because she was her person, as hurt as she was, she also kind of understood a little bit, because she still spoke highly of how much she loved her and appreciated her all the way till execution. So
mm-hmm.
I think low-key, she was really, really hurt. But at the same time, she was just like, I'd rather it be me than you. I don't want you to get in trouble for what I've done, because at that moment now she's having her, okay, I got to confess to everything. I feel horrible type moment,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what it was. I think she was hurt, but at the same time, she understood.
I don't know if I can be that magnanimous, because you set me up. You didn't even allow them, this wasn't just that someone interrogated you in court and got you to confess. You set me up.
Pretty much.
To get yourself off. Do you think that Tyria was scared of her? And I took it from the movie, from Monster, is my reference.
And the reason why you can use Monster as your reference is because, we both know, in order to do any kind of movie of some sort of a biography or whatever the case may be, you have to get details from everybody involved in that movie of some sort, mm-hmm. which would include her. So right. I'm including her in that. So you can use her as a reference.
I think that she was relieved when Aileen got arrested. Thank you, sweet baby Jesus. I think she knew that Aileen wasn't going to stop, and she was going to take her along for the ride. And she was probably tired, because if I don't go along for this ride, she might kill me. And I'm just going to keep going. So it's kind of thank you, God. She's been arrested. Yes, I'm going to help you, because I don't want her to get out. I don't want her to get out, because if she gets out, she's going to come back to me. She's going to find me, and I'm going to be roped into this again. And it's going to be like Bonnie and Clyde. And I don't want this. I just don't think that that's something that she signed up for. And she knew who Aileen was. And she probably knew that, yeah, she killed these first men. She probably made a little confession to her. But I don't think I think that Tyria thought that Aileen would stop. Like, you've got me. I'm not going to hurt you. You don't have to do this anymore. You don't have to be a prostitute anymore. She's going to stop. And she just, it felt too good for her to get revenge over and over and over again on these random ass people. So yeah, I don't think that I think Tyria made the right decision, but I still think that it was a betrayal of the relationship. Like, I know Brandy would have told, because I already know how Brandy is. Brandy.
You already know. I would have told the first time she did it. I heard that.
You wouldn't have been scared of what the person would have done to you?
No, because she would have got locked up.
Jackie, would you have told?
I'm thinking.
I would have told her everything, especially if it's going to get me. I'm telling everything what your mama and daddy did.
I probably would have told it, because I wouldn't want to go down as the person as an accessory. So I probably would want to, now what I would do is, after the first, one, I'd be like, okay, that happened, but, if it come up, I'm gonna say something.
Like, I'm not volunteering nothing, but if they come over here.
But if it come up over here,
then
I'm gonna tell it. But after that, and you just keep on, oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. They're going to come to me and they're going to say, so we heard, no, I wasn't. Because let me tell you what happened. She told me, she said that she did it. She just told me this yesterday. Because I ain't for that, like I've been knowing. And then that's a problem too.
Oh, no. Why you say it happened yesterday?
No, I said she told me yesterday.
You ain't right.
You telling it, Brandy? No.
I don't know. It depends.
When they come into you with, you gonna go down, and we gonna have to be putting money on your books for 20-something years. You gonna say something?
It would depend on what the crime was.
It's murder.
In the case of murder, like serial murder, yeah, I'm gonna have to, if like Jackie said, I ain't gonna volunteer. But if they come over here and you already downtown, I'm telling.
Man, I'm telling everything. First time around, I'm like, yeah, she was up there. She had the duct tape, the bat.
You gonna tell them about the murder kit and everything?
Yeah, I ain't going down for nobody.
Man.
I ain't going down for nobody. Unless they got a prison on the beach. I.e.
Whatever. You ain't gotta do that. You ain't gotta show me no palm trees.
I'm just saying, I ain't going down. If I went down, I wouldn't be able to enjoy this. So I'm telling when I found out about the first one, I'm telling. I'm telling. You right.
You're right. Let's see. She did. I might ask you this question. She got a psych eval. And basically, they acknowledged that she had some issues. That she had borderline personality disorder and antisocial personality disorder. Do you think that she was crazy? Do y'all think she was crazy?
Yeah, I think to an extent. I think to an extent, yeah.
PTSD, definitely PTSD.
Yeah. And I
think that should have been considered in the trial and in the sentencing?
Most definitely. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't know what she was doing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that when in those moments, I believe that her trauma or her PTSD affected her thought process to think that this is okay because it felt good to her. She felt as if she's doing this to get back at whoever did something to her in the past. I think in her mind, that's how she felt. That's why she made it okay for herself to continue to do it. Because in her mind, she already had made it look like that's what had been happening. She already said, oh, they're going to rape me when I get to them. So I might as well go ahead and kill them. That's what she really thought. She really thought they were going to rape her because of what other people had done to her. They weren't doing that. They were just going to sleep with her. But she already in her mind had it set that they were for the rape her, so she might as well kill them first. And she believed that wholeheartedly. So I think she needed some help for sure.
But see, then that...
I don't think she was insane and didn't know that the things she was doing were bad.
Right.
She definitely knew what she was doing was bad. Now, whether they take that as her having diminished mental capacity or whatever, I don't know. But she definitely knew what she was doing was bad.
But see, now, in the thing about
but in her mind, she might have been doing it, or it was self-defense.
Right.
Because they was about...
When you do, like with Aileen, I just think about how many people that are in prison right now who have committed murder or something like that, have PTSD, have child trauma, and do something horrible. Like, how do we give compassionate sentencing, or do we throw the book at them like they did with Aileen? Like, what do you do in this? Like, you know, I think we had this conversation about child murderers that, like you said, diminished capacity. Are you really responsible? You are responsible because you did it, but can you be held to like the strictest sentencing or rules? Because if this hadn't happened to you, there's a chance that you would have never done it. You would have never been in this position in the first place. You know, you're not insane, but you're not altogether right as well. So given that, do you think she also deserved the death penalty? Because she got 6 death sentences.
I don't think she deserved the death penalty. So I didn't think she deserved punishment? Of course. I wholeheartedly believe she deserved punishment. I believe that she knew what she was doing. She understood that the things that she had did were wrong. She understood that. However, I just think that she also needed help. She needed some serious help. And because she felt like everybody in the world had failed her, everyone that she had tried to, look at the last moments, the one woman in the whole entire world that she cared about even failed her. So she had, everyone had completely just did her dirty her whole life. So I think she needed some help, but that doesn't mean that I think she deserved a death sentence. Jesus. And she had consecutive ones. Like, they were lined up.
Yeah. So basically, if she got an appeal on one case, you still got 5. You got an appeal on the second case, you still got 4.
Right. Like, she was out of luck.
They made it impossible for her to get out of that. They made it impossible for her to get out of a death sentence. And she's the second, I think, at that time, I believe she was like the second or third woman to be executed in the US after the death penalty had been reenacted. And then like she went off on these rants when she was in prison. She was saying that they were poisoning her food, that they were peeing in it and spitting in it, and they were treating her horribly. I don't know how much of that is true, you know, but I think at a certain point, Aileen was so far gone in her, at this point, she's a victim of herself in her own mind, that nobody, like you said, Jackie, everybody in her life had betrayed her and let her down and failed her. So by that time, anybody could get it. Everybody was an enemy. From the judge to the janitor of the prison, like everybody is out to get me at this point. She even verbally attacked a filmmaker that came to interview her. Like she was given an interview right before her execution. What was this guy's name? Yeah, it's a famous interview. And she like goes off. It's from Broomfield, this guy named Broomfield. And she's talking to him about what's going on in the prison and how they're poisoning her food and all this stuff. And then she just blows up at the guy and she's like, you sabotage, blank, 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 society and the cops and the system. A raped woman got executed and was used for books and movies. So she was, to the very end, she was very defiant, like all the way to the chair. Like all the way down. And then sometimes she would have some lucid moments where she was quiet and she talked about how basically she was going to go to the mothership. Yeah, the big mothership and all. She'll be back. She says she's going to the big mothership. I'll be back. I'll be back. I don't want Aileen back. So if the mothership comes, I don't want Aileen to be on the ship. So y'all have any last thoughts about Aileen Wuornos as a person? I got a question. Do you think that she was destined? Like, do you think she's an evil person and she was destined to be a killer? Like she was just gonna kill somebody at some point?
No. No. I don't think that was her destiny, but after she did it, then I felt like she was like, I can do it. Like, and I would do it. Like you said about her brother, had he been alive, I mean her grandfather, she would have killed him. So I think originally she wasn't, but once she realized that she could, now she may have thought she always wanted to, but didn't think she could. But when she had to, and she did, in that moment she realized I can do this, and decided to like BW said at that moment, you know, you kind of getting a certain feel when you do it because you're like, look, I can do it. Like I can take these people out for hurting me. So I don't think originally she would have been that way, but once she did, it was a wrap after that.
Yeah, once she was triggered. Yeah, you know, and I never really, until you said so right tonight, I never really saw her as a sympathetic character. I never did. I just saw her, what she did, and I've read about her childhood, but I was just focused on what she did and how she did it, and then her actions and her words after. But having to reread some stuff and then your perspective on her childhood, I was just like, you know what? She is a very sympathetic figure. She is. Which changes how you see her, you know. I think she wanted to be seen as a monster. She wanted to be seen as aggressive. Because to see her, you know, in those times that she would have been vulnerable, she was taken advantage of. So I'm going to let you guys see me as a monster. And I think that most people do see her as a monster. And, you know, but looking at her childhood, yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. One of the reasons, the first thing when I first read it or read about her, I was like, man, she wrong in the wood. You know, she shouldn't have did that. That's messed up. But when I sit back and kind of actually think about it and think about how, as time went on and understanding that trauma can affect you in such a dramatic way in your life, everybody takes trauma differently. Some people are able to get the help that they need to move forward. Some people don't. Some people have learned to just kind of suppress it until it just resurfaces. Like I said, she killed those people. She knew she killed those people. She wrong. But at the same time, I definitely believe she did a Will Smith moment and took out the situation that she had been dealing with in her whole life and utilize that to commit her crimes and feel like they're going to do this to me already. So just to be safe, let me go ahead and kill him. Because they're going to do it to me just like that first guy. So I might as well just go ahead and kill him because I can do it. I did it to the first guy. So I can do it. So that's what I feel like she went through. So I felt kind of, like, God dang, man. Poor lady.
Yeah. So Jackie's been talking about Aileen Wuornos for a couple of years. And I was like, how many times have people talked about her? And then, but something came up the other day and Jackie mentioned it. And I was just like, well, we should just talk about it. We should just go ahead and do the oldie but goodie.
I think someone on TikTok was advocating for her. They were like, poor lady. And I was like, yeah, see, Brandy?
I think that's what that was.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So we'll do some more stories on if y'all want us to talk about or give a different perspective on an old murder case, one that's been in the media for a long time. That's what we do. We're not going to say, we'll give you the briefest history possible about an old murder or an old case, and then we'll give you our perspective on it, on how we view it here at Black Coffee.
We know Aileen has been done a zillion times.
Right. But
ours is better.
Every time. Ours is always better.
You get to look at the beach. You get to listen to our opinions.
I'm still mad about the beach.
I'm so damn jelly. It's not even funny. I just keep looking. I'm like, the water back there moving.
Yes, it is the ocean. It is the ocean. A block away is the ocean.
She can walk there.
Yeah.
Especially at night when I'm sleeping, because all the windows are open. Both slide glass doors are open and you could just hear it. And it's like right now it's really loud. I don't know if you guys can distinguish the sounds, but it's like that at night, but it's peaceful. There's no cars or anything. No one's out. So, and because of the time difference, I get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock. I come out here. I can't see anything black, but it's water. Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Jackie, why are you doing
this? Wait, real quick. Is it a lot of bugs? Because somebody told me that in Hawaii there's a lot of bugs.
I ain't seen none, girl, because I would have said something.
My friend told me when she went, they had bugs were a big thing, like cockroaches, like the fly ones. I ain't seen. Maybe she was out in the woods somewhere, in the countryside. I don't know, but I ain't seen no big bugs because
Jackie, we live in Texas. Texas is the land of.
That's why I can't go no.
Of alien bugs.
Maybe the June bugs came out, baby. I'm no good.
Yeah, Texas is the land of alien bugs. I ain't never seen no bugs like here. I ain't never seen black crickets that fly. Yeah, Alabama.
They got a lot of bugs.
Some about the bugs. Oh, yes, Lord.
You guys have those spider crickets?
What the hell is a spider cricket?
When you crunch them, it's super loud, like a ridiculous crunch. I'm scared of them. They jump.
We have black flying crickets. They're black, and they'll catch flight on you. They fly. Will. They fly.
Yes, they do.
Black flying crickets. And between September and October,
oh my God,
they are.
And it's like the streets are black.
Parking lots are black.
Yeah.
You go to McDonald's or a fast food restaurant, they're all on the side of the wall. They are if you walk into a store, they are on the sidewalks. They're inside the store. Mm-hmm. It's horrible.
Yep. That's a fact.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
It's completely disgusting.
This is Texas.
I don't do the grasshoppers. That's my bug that I fear more. Those flying cockroaches and grasshoppers. Grasshoppers, they fly on you and they stay. And you can swipe them off and they'll come right back. You can swipe it off 1,000 times, they'll fly right back on you.
Anything that sticks to me, I don't like it.
Anything that can come up to me when I'm unaware, I don't like it. Like if I see a zebra or a lion charging me, I know, let me, but them things be hopping on you. You don't even know.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm good.
No rodents.
Yeah, that is
I'm
true.
good.
Yeah, you come to Texas, these bugs gone.
And they're not shy.
No,
they're not shy.
They're not scared.
Yay! Listen to That's the sound of our former cameraman. She's on vacation as well.
She was doing the closing him.
Yeah, closing him. All right, we are going to let Brandy get back to paradise. Wish we could be there. Maybe we'll do a Black Coffee and Crime 3-person conference one day.
Yeah.
We'll just go somewhere and rent out a conference room, and it'll just be us with signs and shit outside. No, it's just the three of us. So we will go ahead and say goodnight to Jackie and I, and good day to Brandy, because it is still very bright outside. And we will see you guys next week for another show. Again, if you have any ideas, if you want to criticize, be polite, be respectful. If you want to correct, that's fine. Or just, just laugh or whatever. Comment on the video. Comment on any of the videos. Also, visit us at Black Coffee Crime on Facebook and on Instagram. And please, please, please go back to episode 80 and who's Shawanda. Find out who Shawanda is on episode 80. That is our new slogan, who's Shawanda. It's never going to go.
I sent it to Shawanda too, so she could see it.
You sent it to the real Shawanda? Wow.
I did.
We might have to have the real Shawanda on the show.
She will.
All right. Well, we'll say goodnight and good day to Brandy, and enjoy a cup of coffee, and good night, y'all.
Good night.